My research project was on the effects of social networking sites on social or interpersonal skills. The purpose of this project was to analyze how people are communicating. As social workers, communication is key with any population that we may choose to work with. It is important for us to know how people are communicating so that we can effectively communicate with them and serve them. Social networking sites have been getting a lot of attention from people in fields of both academics and industry research. This is because social networking sites are affordable and they are able to reach the masses. Since being introduced, social media sites have attracted a lot of attention and users have tended to use them in their everyday life. This research that I found from an article allowed me to come up with my hypothesis as well as my research questions. My hypothesis is that social networking sites can have a negative impact on one's interpersonal skills. From that, I was able to form my research questions, which were my demographic questions, meaning age, region where a person is from, as well as their gender. The frequency of use of these social networking sites, I was able to ask whether or not they use them daily, weekly, monthly. I also asked whether or not respondents felt that social networking sites actually had any type of impact on the way that they communicate or their comfort in communicating or being in contact with others in public space. I also was able to ask about their behavior in public space as well as their level of comfort within that space. My research design was surveys, so after conducting research from different articles about social networking, its definition, its history, its impact on families and adolescents, children, individuals in general, I was able to come up with or create a survey, and I was able to get this survey out via email. So it was given on the internet. So my population was very wide, and it varied both age and gender. I was able to have a nice mix of both male and female, and people from 18 to 65 were able to take this survey. Some of the questions that I was able to ask were for respondents to evaluate the statements, whether or not they feel comfortable initiating contact online versus in person. And there was a pretty even split between people who felt comfortable doing that and people who did not. Many respondents agreed that they felt more comfortable initiating contact online. And I believe from the articles that I've read, it's because they're so used to that virtual reality that they aren't sure, according to the articles that I researched, on how to interact when it comes to being in person, being face to face. They aren't sure how to pick up on certain social cues or nonverbal communication because of that constant reality, virtual reality. I also asked if respondents used the language or lingo that they use on social networking sites in their everyday language, such as LOL, OMG, ROFL, like rolling on the floor laughing, laughing out loud. Do they do that in their everyday language? There was also an equal split of a lot of respondents answered that they do use that type of language in their everyday conversation. And I know that I also do the same thing. I have heard myself or my friends and I communicate like that even when we're face to face because we're so used to texting each other and things like that. I also asked respondents, do they feel when in public, do they intentionally use their phones in order to avoid contact or eye contact or with others? Many respondents responded they strongly agree that they do that. I can also attest that I've done that as well, just so that I don't have to initiate any type of conversation with others. After conducting my research, I was able to see that my hypothesis was not necessarily proven correct. Many people felt like social networking sites has many positive impacts, such as this is where we get our news from a lot of times. We keep in contact with our family members, and so many people are more comfortable and feel like it has a positive impact, which overbears the negative. But the negative impact is still there, as far as people not wanting to communicate, or the way that we communicate has changed because social media or social networking sites. So I believe as social workers, we would have to conform or incorporate certain things because of this knowledge that we have acquired about how people communicate and how comfortable they are communicating via virtual reality, which means we may have to email more or find something where the client is comfortable communicating with us, so that we are able to establish that rapport that we need in order to help them and serve them the best that we can.